Most people think investing means picking random stocks and praying they go up, or sitting there for hours and becoming a nerd. But most people aren't built like that though. So your bank statement might actually already be telling you exactly what to invest in. And this is something I call the bank statement method. And if you've got at least 100 quid in your account, this is the smartest way to start investing. So the biggest problem that I've seen over the years is that investing seems to be very, very inaccessible to beginners. Someone who has never, ever bought a share of anything. And what we need to do is to make that actually relatable, tangible, and enable people to understand exactly the perspective of how they would invest from their individual situation. Because I understand that it can be very, very overwhelming and you can feel lost so easily. There's so much information out there. The people that put the information out either seem scammy, or they seem overly corporate, or it just sounds like you have to be some sort of maths whiz to start investing. Most people basically don't know where to start, and so they never start. And maybe you're kind of familiar with that feeling. And you don't even need to know everything, which is the funny thing. You just need to start with what you already use and understand. That's where making it tangible comes in. And here's exactly what I mean. So the concept is the bank statement method, and the way in which you use this is by looking at companies that you already use a few times a week or a few times a month. What you do is you look at your bank statement from the last month, or maybe 3 months if you want to get even more precise, and you find 2 or 3 companies that you use a lot in that month, regularly, maybe like, 2-3 times a week. Now for me, it's likely Amazon, Apple, and Tesco. Tesco to shop, Amazon to buy loads of rubbish, and Apple because of all my subscriptions, right? And the reason we start from this perspective is because I'm familiar with those companies. I'm using them all the time. I'm going onto the App Store, or I'm using my iPhone, or I'm at Tesco. I can see how many people are shopping around at Tesco. I'm familiar with this. And so it's not like you're just buying a random company on, the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. You're using companies and you're buying companies that you're already familiar with. What you should then do is buy 1 share of each of these companies. Just 3 companies with 0 expectations that you're going to make any money, genuinely. Because what I'm trying to get you to do here is just get comfortable with taking the risk. Get comfortable with doing something that you've never done before. It's why I do mental stuff like gym photo shoots, or just go and play golf against someone who's way better than me, because it's really uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable to do something that you're not used to doing. But if we get to the logic a little bit more, we're looking at buying things where you're buying them, so it's likely that millions of others are doing it too, which automatically makes it probably quite a good business. But also because you're using it regularly, you're way more familiar with that company than just going and buying a random one that you've never actually used because you've heard about it on social media. I mean, how many of you have ever bought an NVIDIA graphics card? So why would you start, even though it's a really good investment, why would you start your investing journey by buying something that you're unfamiliar with? You probably wouldn't. So I just want you to get comfortable with taking that initial risk with something that you understand. Let's take a look at Tesco shares, for example. Right now they're trading at about 465p, give or take. It goes up and down all the time. But what buying 1 share of Tesco will make you do the next time you go to Tesco is perhaps look at, okay, what is the footfall? How many people are actually in this store? What are the prices looking like compared to the previous week? How might that influence their share price over time? What this should enable you to do is start building your own perspective on that company. It doesn't mean that you're going to go and look at, cash flow statements or anything like this. But what I'm trying to get you to do is create building blocks in your head where you're trying to piece certain things together by yourself. Now, what we're going to do, and I want you to click below in the description and sign up to the waiting list, is we're going to release a 6-month course which will enable you to develop these ideas in a more objective way. So make sure you sign up to the waiting list in the description. But where we really want you to get to is enabling yourself to have a view on these companies that you're regularly using to really start building a comprehensive portfolio. That is the key thing. That is where I'm going to get Brits investing better. And I'm telling you, I will get Brits to invest better. You're just the start. So follow this method content, because this is the best way to start getting involved in the market and reduce all of that anxiety. I'm only asking you to buy one share in 3 companies that you use the most. It's not a big ask. You can do it. Remember, I'm not looking for you to actually make money here. You're not gonna make or lose a load of money by just buying one share of a company, believe me. You're more likely to make money though, let's be honest. What I want you to get out of it is that education piece, that feeling that you've done something that you haven't done before and getting into a different comfort zone. You're doing something that you're uncomfortable with doing, and I know you're uncomfortable with doing it because you've never done it before, and that makes things easier going forward. That's all the goal of this video is. It's about turning your curiosity into confidence. That's all it is. You've heard your mates talking about investing, but you've never actually done it yourself. You can do it. It's very, very simple. And using this method will enable your brain to shift and realize, oh, fuck me, it's actually not as hard or as confronting as I first thought. Once you start understanding the businesses behind your daily life, you stop seeing money as something that controls you, and you start using it to actually build wealth instead, rather than just giving it to the company and getting something in return. You're literally growing your wealth through their profits. Now, as I said, sign up to the waiting list because we're going to release specific steps for you to achieve monthly in terms of being able to grow your education around this. Here's what you should do from a basic level to scale this method a little bit further. Just make sure you stay on top of tracking exactly what the share price is doing and find key points that are driving the price higher, because those key points are likely to recur in the future, and you're able to then start really analyzing what the key drivers of that company are. And I don't want you to deviate from these initial 2 or 3 picks. I don't want you to pick anything else. I want you to hold it for as long as possible, because holding is the hardest thing to do in markets. People's patience and hyperactivity of their brain normally takes over. So being able to be consistent with being patient is way more important than being super smart. And this method is literally as simple as that to get people investing more. Most Brits don't invest. So if you start with baby steps like this, then you are ahead of 99% of people. And then you have a chance at actually beating the UK stupid disincentive system, which is keeping many people like yourself trapped. If you don't know what I'm talking about or want to see how it's keeping you stuck where you are, then watch this video now.